All right, IRV, ERV, VT, RV, IC, FRC, TLC, VC. Not important to memorize these at all, but it is important for us to go through them and understand how the lung functions, how the lung expands and contracts, how much air that it holds in reserve volume. These are all important factors in health of the lung, in identifying and in diagnosing lung conditions, and just understanding how the exchange of gases happen. And also, when I talk about this throughout the program, different breathing patterns, you're going to understand where you're breathing and how important it is. Because most people nowadays, chest breathers, mouth breathers, are only using that top portion of the lung. So let's just go right to this graph right here. What you're going to see is the lung is broken down into chunks. And as I just said, that pink portion is the area, maybe even less actually, more so that little blue and brown portions where most of our lung capacity is at, most of what we're breathing. So I actually want to skip past that one first, and I want to go down to TV or VT, depending on who's talking, your tidal volume. So your tidal volume is basically the normal breath you should be taking day to day, all through the nose ideally and totally quiet. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to be a little louder than you should be, just so you can hear it, but it's going to be like this. Your inhale, pause, exhale. Totally easy and passive. There is no force. There is no hyperventilation, no panting. It is just a nice, easy, calm breath. That's your tidal volume. Now, if we were to go tidal volume to the top, that passive inhale, and then force air in, that would be air packing, or that's your IRV. Okay, so we use those terms, air packing, lung packing, stage breath, but that's technically your IRV, your inspiratory reserve volume. Okay, so that is the additional amount of air that can be inhaled after a passive inhalation. Next is the other end of that, your expiratory reserve volume, your ERV. So as you exhale, or I'll just exhale for tidal volume, you get to your passive exhale and then force air out. That's your ERV. These are the most common ones that we're going to be using within this program. But now we're going to go to your RV, which is a common term used in free diving techniques, your RV holds. So your RV, this is the volume of air that remains after your maximal exhalation. This amount of air actually cannot be forced out, and you don't want to, because it's what keeps your lungs from collapsing. Freedivers use this as they call an RV hold, but what I really think they mean is an IRV hold. They're actually in the IRV since you can't actually push that residual volume out. But what they're probably referring to is they are getting to the point right before it as an RV hold. They're holding that residual volume. That's all that's left. So now we're going to get into the next portion of the graph here. As you see, they start to combine different segments of the lung, and we're in our IC. We are in our inspiratory capacity. So inspiratory capacity is basically after you exhale fully, passive exhale, okay, so your tidal volume, your passive exhale, how much air can be brought back in, tidal volume, and now IRV. So it's a combination, as you see on here, of IRV and tidal volume. Your FRC, or your functional residual capacity. This is the volume of air that remains in the lungs after a normal exhalation. It's the sum of your expiratory reserve volume and your RV, your residual volume. FRC is the sum of air that's left after your normal exhalation. So your tidal volume breath, you exhale, pause, whatever's left is your FRC, your functional residual capacity. The next one is a really important one in terms of the ability of the lungs to expand and contract. And this is your vital capacity, your VC. As you see the VC on the image here, that it's a combination of your inspiratory reserve volume, a combination of your tidal volume, and your ERV. So this is the maximum amount of air that can be exhaled after your maximum inhalation. So as an example, it looks like this. We inhale, tidal volume, passive inhale, ERV, Tidal volume. ERV. That's your vital capacity, the maximum range. Again, this is a super important one in understanding total lung capacity, plus its ability to exchange gas and its ability to expand and contract. This is the function of the lung. Then last is your TLC, your total lung capacity. So this, as you see, is a combination of your residual volume, of your ERV, your expiratory reserve volume, of your tidal volume, and your IRV, your inspiratory reserve volume. Again, it's the amount of air that you can hold in your lungs at one point. A lot of us are limited in this capacity because of tightness, because of posture, because of poor breathing habits. So when we go through some of the practices, you'll see these. I will reiterate what they mean, but if you ever get confused, you can come back to this. You can watch this video, or the text is attached and you can just remind yourself that way, or feel free to send me a message and I can help clarify any questions regarding these weird acronyms.